Hi, I'm Brian. Kettle's on, make yourself a cup of tea. Now today I want to talk about Ghostbusters and the news that Sony have confirmed that Ghostbusters Afterlife is getting a sequel. Now they have only just confirmed it, there's no details on what it's about. But I just wanted to take a couple of minutes just to talk about it getting a sequel. Now I've had a look at this article on Cinema Blend. There are a few spoilers for Ghostbusters Afterlife. So if you haven't seen Afterlife yet, just giving you a warning that there is a spoiler in the article for the post-credit scene. When Jason Reitman brought Ghostbusters back to theatres in 2021 for Ghostbusters Afterlife, people wondered if it was going to be a one and done deal. He was continuing his father Ivan Reitman's legacy, connecting the original characters to new characters introduced in the sequel. There were teasers in the end credits. This is part of the spoiler, guys. That Ernie Hudson might expand on the franchise while bringing it back to New York City. Well, at CinemaCon 2022 in Las Vegas, Sony Pictures Chair of Motion Pictures Tom Rothman confirmed that in addition to Venom and the Equalizer sequels, Sony will also make another Ghostbusters movie. So the fact that Ghostbusters Afterlife not only catered to fans of the original movie, completely ignored the 2016 failed reboot of the franchise, it's now getting a sequel, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of critics and people out there that are going to hate this. The people that have screamed that the 2016 Ghostbusters movie was a great movie and that you're just sexist if you don't like it. Those people will be furious that Afterlife has done well, that it was made for the fans and it's getting a sequel. It's done something which the 2016 Ghostbusters never had a chance of doing. It wasn't made for the fans and it performed terribly. But back on with the article. Sony Pictures Entertainment kicked off CinemaCon 2022 with a complete look at the upcoming slate, showing us the first reel of David Lynch's Bullet Train, the opening 15 minutes of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Sony Pictures' Tom Rothman announced that amongst the studio's plans for future movies, a Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel would be in the mix. Well, we assume it's a sequel to Afterlife. All that was said was the next Ghostbusters movie. So let's leave the door open a crack that this could be a spin-off, prequel or some other approach to the franchise. I don't think it will be. I think it will be a sequel to Afterlife, and I think it will focus on the new characters that were introduced in the film. We got the original Ghostbusters back, but now it's time to move on. Ghostbusters Afterlife was a good film. I enjoyed it. It did well. It catered to fans of the old films. And I think they've done what they had to do to set up the new characters to continue the Ghostbusters franchise moving forward. So I don't think it'll be a spin-off. I definitely can't see it being a prequel or some other approach to the franchise. I'm wondering if this is just them having a slight dig at the fact that 2016 Ghostbusters didn't get a sequel, or they could be suggesting that they could use this to bring in the 2016 Ghostbusters cast, which I don't think will happen. And this bit is the spoiler for the post-credit scene. So if you haven't seen the post-credit scene, this is the spoiler for that part. We do know that in the end credit scene for Ghostbusters Afterlife, Winston Zeddemore, Ernie Hudson, the financially successful team member, heads back to New York City where he meets with Janine, Annie Potts. And then to his latest purchase, the firehouse that served as headquarters for the original Ghostbusters in the first two movies. I want to be an example of what's possible, he states. I may be a businessman, but I'll always be a Ghostbuster. With those words and the arrival of Ecto 1 in the bay of the building, we get the impression that Winston is ready to get back in the business of busting ghosts. Now let's turn to some speculation. If I had to guess, I'd say the original Ghostbusters stars Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd were done with the series. Bill Murray definitely. Dan Aykroyd might be able to be coaxed back. He does adore this series. Ghostbusters Afterlife already addressed the elephant in the firehouse with his controversial cameo appearance, so there's no going back to that ground. And now that the series originator Ivan Reitman has passed, it will be up to his son Jason Reitman to steer the ship. Now I do agree with that part there. I do think Bill Murray for definite is done with the franchise. I don't think they would get him back. Dan Aykroyd, he might come back, but I think it would be in a severely reduced role. I don't think realistically he'd be back. I think they've passed the torch over to a new cast, and I think the only people that would be back would be Ernie Hudson and Annie Potts. I think bringing the full original team back again for a second time wouldn't serve the franchise well. I think it needs to grow on its own now with the new cast, and it is something I would like to see. And there's just this one last little bit here on the article. While promoting Ghostbusters Afterlife, Jason Reitman spoke about how exciting it would be to see a universe of Ghostbusters films from all types of voices. So this could be a way that the sequel goes. There's always been the tease that Ghostbusters could franchise the name and have global Ghostbusters battling threats from all corners of the world. Then again, you could also follow Finn Wolfhard and McKenna Grace as the new recruits who take what they learned battling ghosts in Afterlife and apply it to new stories. I do think that is the way they would take it. We'll follow the characters of the last film, Finn Wolfhard and McKenna Grace. And I think if they are going to spin it off into have Ghostbusters across the globe, I think that would be a way to go in a third film or maybe it's a TV show. But I am glad that Ghostbusters Afterlife is getting a sequel. I hope they do as well as they did for Afterlife with the sequel. I hope they keep it made for fans. But what do you guys think? Are you happy that Ghostbusters Afterlife is getting a sequel? Do let me know in the comments below. And that's all from me. I'm about to make a fresh cup of tea.